Arata is one loser that even Diddy would not waste a drop of lotion on him, who has got a harem of himself at home. He has 5 sisters and each one of them can put Sydney Sweeney to shame. Sorry all Sydney fans. But the girls got everything, and by everything we mean everything that makes Sydney Sweeney famous among the men. Gifted with curves so deep that even an alpha male like Andrew Tate would drool for them, and this loser could not get to test how strong the bed springs were with any of them, even though they are not related. I get that even you guys would be furious at how chicken our MC is, but his story is not straight. I mean he is straight, don't get him wrong, but the girls don't let this ugly loser come anywhere close to them. Arata Shiunji is 16 and lives in a huge fancy mansion with his family. The place has tons of rooms and a big garden, so he's never short on space. He lives with his 5 sisters and 1 brother. Their family is rich, which means they have servants doing all the cleaning, cooking and taking care of stuff. One day, Arata's sitting with his brother Shion, talking quietly because he wants some advice. He asks Shion how he got a girlfriend and how he fell in love. Shion shrugs, says it just happened, and tells Arata not to stress because he's the eldest son and could get any girl he wants. Even though Shion's trying to calm him down, Arata still feels unsure and doubts himself. Just then, the 5 sisters walk in and ask what the boys are talking about. Uka and Seiha instantly guess Arata's thinking about a girl, so they start teasing him, laughing and joking. Shion adds fuel by saying Arata once complimented Uka's body, which makes her mad, and she jokingly tells her dog to bite him. Arata tries to explain but no one listens, and soon the topic shifts to an old story about why it's wrong to have bad thoughts about your sisters. Banri, the oldest sister, gets serious and points out everyone's habits and weaknesses, making the room go quiet. Manami supports Arata, saying he's a good guy, which makes him happy. He tries to hug her but she punches him instead, showing off how strong she is from all her Olympic training. Later, Oka asks if everyone's free Saturday because she wants to plan Kotono's birthday party. Cheyenne says he's busy, and nobody even asks Arata, which makes him a little sad. The next day at the train station, people stare because the sisters are beautiful and popular, each with their own fan club. Girls admire Shion, and boys admire Arata for his athletic body. At school in the washroom the brothers talk again, realizing people only see the fun side of their lives. At home their sisters are loud, strong, and the parents always take their side. Arata and Shion have grown up with this, so it feels normal. Each sister has her own strengths. Banri is a calm college freshman studying nursing. Seiha is smart and leads the science club. Uka's great at both school and sports and runs for student council. Manami is a tennis champ aiming for the Olympics. Kotono is quiet, cute and very popular with the boys. Then Shion drops a bomb. Kotono once confessed to him, which makes Arata nervous and want to forget it. At home Arata keeps thinking about Lala, the girl he actually likes, and wonders if he should send her a friend request online, but feels too scared. Uka comes by to borrow his notes, notices his neat handwriting and accidentally teases him about Lala. She tries to help by sending a friend request, but Arata stops her, which annoys her. Meanwhile, Kotono looks at an old photo of Arata with a soft, thoughtful expression. After school, Arata walks alone, imagining life without his sisters and feeling sad when he sees Lala with another guy. At Kotono's birthday party, everyone's dressed up, and Arata can't help thinking about marriage and kids, while Manami and Uka argue over lost earbuds. He shouts for them to stop, and everyone slowly laughs and smiles, embarrassed. Their dad arrives and drops a huge secret. None of them are blood siblings except Shion and Manami. The rest are adopted. Even though they're surprised, they all agree that growing up together makes them real siblings. That night, Arata goes to bathe, and finds Kotono already in the bathroom, which makes him super embarrassed. He helps her carefully, and gives some advice, while Uka and Shion talk about the day and worry about him. Finally, Kotono hugs him from behind, and he just freezes, feeling shocked, confused and overwhelmed by everything that happened that day. Arata's stuck in the bathroom with Kotono, and he's freaking out, not knowing what to do. Meanwhile, Uka and Shion are talking about sibling marriage. Uka hates the idea, says it's weird and wrong. Shion tries to explain he was just giving an example, and that sibling marriage is illegal. He keeps talking, but Uka makes annoyed faces, then says Arata sometimes looks at her funny and even once commented on her clothes. Shion stays quiet while Uka presses, asking what really happened in the gaming room when she saw Arata on top of Kotono. Shion's confused, because he knows the truth but can't say anything. Arata made him promise to keep it secret. Shion knows Arata didn't do anything wrong, but Uka thinks he's bad with girls. She keeps talking and Shion finally decides to spill. He says Kotono confessed to Arata and asks him to lie on her. Uka can't believe it and starts yelling. Shion calms her down, telling her Arata actually refused, even though Uka can't wrap her head around it. Shion explains kids their age don't really understand love and respect. Arata cares for Kotono, but she thinks it's love. Uka tells Shion not to act like some wise adult. He's only a year older. Then Kotono confesses again. Arata says no, he can't do stuff like that. She asks if he thinks she's bad, and brings up that step-siblings can marry. Arata says she's nice and he cares about her, but she's too young. He tells her she's confusing care with love, and even if they aren't real siblings, he's still her big brother and will always care for her. Kotono gets sad as Arata walks away. Later we see a girl's foot and a father looking at his wife's photo, saying he kept his promise. Banri shows up, but we don't hear what they say. Arata goes to his room and finds Senhai waiting. She changes the subject, joking his room is the smallest but also the nicest. She reminds him he got it after losing a game to Uka when they were 10. Arata's confused when Senhai pushes him down and sits close. She says she won't tell anyone, so he shouldn't worry. Seiha says she saw Arata and Kotono in the bathroom, and wanted to make sure he wasn't doing anything wrong. Arata's shocked, and asks how much she saw. She says she heard everything. He realizes she's trying to protect Kotono, but thinks she could have just talked to him. Seiha explains sibling marriage is illegal and risky, even if they aren't real siblings. Arata's shocked again, saying he doesn't want to do anything like that. Seiha smiles, happy he's normal and caring, and leaves. Arata sits alone thinking, realizing he's always thought they were real siblings, but now he knows they're not. Next morning, Arata gets ready for school, still lost in thought. On the way he sees Banri dressed Kotono as a nurse, and teases him, which makes him mad. They joke around, then Arata and Shion head to school, talking about yesterday, while their sisters act like nothing happened. Everyone's happy, and no one knows they aren't real siblings. Arata wonders what will happen if people find out. After school Arata thinks about his sisters, especially Seiha, when Manami shows up. She has no practice, so they walk home together. Arata praises her, but she brushes it off and praises him back. Girls come asking for Minami's autograph and leave. She tells Arata she once wore boys' clothes, which made more girls like her, and he feels a little sad. Manami says she failed a test and has a holiday to revise, so Arata starts teaching her. At first she seems to get it, but then fails again and starts singing, which makes him happy because she's cheerful. On the way home, Arata sees the girl he likes with another guy and hides, but Manami notices. They walk back joking and chatting. Manami asks about his real parents and siblings, calling him senpai, which shocks him. She says she knows about the girl he likes and tells him not to give up. At home, Manami gives Oka a cake and returns her earphones as an apology. The next morning begins quietly in the Shiunji house. Arata steps out of his room ready for school. In the hallway he sees Kotono, who greets him softly, but does not wait for a reply. She turns and walks away. Arata stays still wondering what is going on. Since that day Kotono has been behaving strangely, and her silence feels heavy. Arata feels a little worried about her. Just then Seiha appears with her cheerful voice surprising Arata. She comes closer and playfully calls him in a cute way which reminds him of the past when she blushed at the same thing. Now she does it again, bringing back that memory. Seiha looks at him with concern, and asks if he is worried about Kotono. Arata tries to hide his emotions, saying nothing is wrong. They keep talking until Manami arrives walking straight to Arata, calling him senpai, which surprises Seiha. She watches quietly while Manami explains he helps her a lot, so she calls him senpai out of respect. Seiha slowly walks away, and Manami follows her. Arata watches both leave, thinking how strange the morning is turning out. At school Arata walks to class and sees Lala, which makes him blush. Before he can do anything Oka comes and says he should try talking to her once. Arata hesitates, saying Lala already has a boyfriend. Oka laughs, saying he is rejecting himself before even trying. Her friends arrive and she leaves. Arata stands thinking how Oka is different at school where she acts confident and popular, while at home she often yells. Her friends start talking about Arata, saying he looks handsome and Oka is lucky to have such a smart brother. Oka says he is not as great and complains he does not know how to talk to girls. Suddenly she starts praising him, and her face turns red. Her friends tease her, asking why she is blushing, and she says it is because of the hot weather. She leaves quickly. Later all siblings go to an amusement park looking excited and happy. Manami and Oka run to play with teddy bears, while Banri reminds them it is Kotono's birthday. They ignore her, so she brings Arata to get drinks and snacks. When they return, no one is waiting, and Banri gets annoyed. Arata tries calling but no one answers. Banri shrugs, saying they should treat it as a date, and Arata follows her. They finish the food and Arata feels full. While eating, Banri talks too close to Arata. He reminds her that he is her younger brother, but she keeps teasing, saying he is blushing because she touched him. He denies it, but she smiles, joking that people are watching because a beautiful girl walks beside him. Arata realizes Bunri looks the cutest and most beautiful of all sisters. She asks if he wants to touch her, and he feels too embarrassed to speak. They walk to a ride. Banri climbs stairs while Arata turns away, missing a step and falling. She helps him up. On the roller coaster, Arata is scared while they keep missing calls from the others. Elsewhere, Kotono feels sad and Oka asks if she is alright. Kotono says the trip was for her birthday, but everyone is playing hide and seek like lost kids. They decide to enjoy the day and Kotono smiles again. Banri and Arata sit to rest. Banri offers food but he refuses. He watches her, thinking she looks cute. Arata remembers the father's big news and asks Banri her thoughts. She says she was shocked and asks if he is worried. He says he just does not want them separated after learning they are not real siblings. Banri praises him, saying that is why he is cute, and runs her hand through his hair. They remember old times and share warm memories. Suddenly a girl slips, spilling her drink toward Banri. Arata jumps in front, protecting her, and gets soaked. The girl apologizes and leaves. Banri helps clean him and scolds him for silly things. Arata says he just wants to protect her like a good younger brother. Banri becomes emotional, realizing he is growing up fast. The rest of the group finally finds them, and Kotono gently asks if Arata is alright. He says he is fine. They go for more rides while Banri holds his hand, saying it is because she is his big sister. Later they watch a princess movie, and Manami and Oka act out scenes. Seiha reveals that Kotono confessed to Arata again. Everyone is shocked, but Seiha says Arata is not a bad guy and requests they keep it secret. They agree, and Manami suggests visiting a haunted apartment next. The next scene begins with Oka finally confessing her feelings to Arata. He feels shocked and confused, but before he can say anything, the scene changes to a past moment at school where he talks with Shion. Shion asks if Arata sees their sisters as normal girls since they are not blood related. This makes Arata nervous. Shion explains that it means the girls are like very close female friends. Arata refuses to accept it and says this rule should apply to Shion too. Shion laughs and says he already has a girlfriend. Arata becomes curious because Shion uses her first name. He asks if anything happened between them. Shion says something always happens, and then reveals he told Uka everything about him and Kotono. Arata feels upset. He says Uka never truly trusts him, and explains that even if they are not blood siblings, they grew up together for 16 years, so nothing should change. Shion agrees, but warns that if people find out in school, everything will become a mess. Arata strongly agrees, saying nobody should ever find out. Shion already knows how dangerous this secret is. The scene returns to the present. Uka finishes her confession, saying she only wanted to tell him this much. She says she is happy she was once his sister and adds that she knows what happened between him and Kotono because Shion told her. She believes Arata handled everything maturely because Kotono is still young and innocent, and it is not her fault. Then Uka says she needs to use the washroom and walks away. Arata feels confused and wonders what Uka meant. He questions whether she cares about their future relationship. He remembers Shion's words and becomes frustrated as strange thoughts run through his mind. Meanwhile, Uka walks away feeling shocked by her own actions. The next morning, Arata trains as usual. Manami suddenly arrives, and he is surprised and excited to train with her. He notices she usually wakes up late, and wonders why she came early. Manami just says her sleep broke naturally, but Arata feels something is off. Arata remembers he has trained since childhood, and that his father forced him to train hard. Now he respects Manami's way of training, and tells her it is one of the best methods. Manami is surprised and happy. Flashback shows Manami searching for Uka and Arata last night, but finding them alone while Uka confessed her love. She felt shocked, and did not disturb them. In the present, Manami feels confused and wants to ask Arata what she saw but hesitates. Arata casually asks if she is not exercising, and she starts lifting dumbbells awkwardly. She asks if something happened between him and Uka but quickly says never mind. Arata becomes curious, but Manami tells him to stop overthinking and says she will exercise later. He warns her not to overwork because the inter-high competition is coming. After training, Arata goes to the bathroom and finds Sakura there. He tells her to lock the door, but she laughs, saying she has seen him many times, so he should not be embarrassed. He gets frustrated and thinks his sisters are crazy. Sakura shows him a ring from their mom. Later, Banri enters his room complimenting it, and starts reading his laptop. She sees a message about a cute girlfriend, making Arata blush as he snatches it back. Banri invites him to a date, and sticks close, teasing him about staying in a hotel, which makes him uncomfortable. They shop for a phone, and walk together. sharing ice cream while remembering childhood memories. Arata thinks Banri is cute. Katano sees a photo Banri uploads of them and smiles, though feeling slightly jealous. Banri receives a message and leaves while warning Arata not to tease. She calls Manami later saying nothing unusual happened, which confuses Manami. By mistake, she sends a message about Arata and Uka to the sisters group chat and deletes it quickly. Uka enters the bathroom telling Manami to hurry, making her nervous. But Katano sees the message and is shocked. Dinner time begins quietly, and Arata notices Seiya is not eating and seems lost in thought. After finishing, she still looks distracted. Concerned, Arata approaches and says if she has any problems she can talk to him, because he is her brother. He feels awkward, but Seiya smiles and says he seems to be getting into the flow. Then she suggests playing a game, which puzzles Arata, and he wonders why she chose this one. Seiya explains that last time she was in his room she felt excited and now wants to clear her feelings because her university exams are coming and she does not want distractions. Arata is shocked and asks how she can say that. She continues saying if her feelings go beyond a sibling relationship, it could cause problems, so it is better to clarify now. Arata wonders if Seiya likes him more than a brother, but before he can think further she starts the game. He protests, saying he never agreed, but she reminds him how he helped her during exams. Reluctantly he joins. As the game goes on, Seiya moves closer, and he says she is too near, but she replies that she is following the rules. The game reaches a point where Arata does not know what to do next. Seiya wants them to touch, which makes him uncomfortable. She blocks all escape routes, leaving him cornered, so he declares he gives up. Seiya insists giving up is not good for him. Now it is Arata's turn, and he has to place his foot under hers, making him very uneasy. While he touches her, Seiya talks about how happiness comes from love and peace, then mentions dopamine, dating, human bodies, physical relationships and marriage, concluding that trust connects all these emotions even though science cannot explain it fully. She asks if trust comes from 50 years together or a single moment, and wonders if that person could be a younger brother. Arata feels shocked and thinks she might be crazy or very serious. Suddenly Seiya falls on top of him, saying she is tired. Arata complains, but she says she was too exhausted. She then says her verification is complete, thanks him and leaves. Arata thinks she always makes fun of him, and wonders who plays Twister to check feelings. Frustrated, he shouts. Uka enters, asking why he is shouting. She says she heard Seiya's voice, and asks what happened. Arata insists nothing happened. Uka suggests they have fun, and they start a game. She mentions practicing 30 hours a week, and Arata recalls how she always tried to trap him in games as a child. They play, and Uka wins 5 times while teasing him, and Arata notices she looks genuinely happy. He becomes determined, wins twice, but Uka traps him again. She says if he admits defeat she will let him go, so he says he gives up. Then he grabs Uka and realizes immediately what he did, but she comments that he seems grown up. She leaves, blushing outside, and Arata is left wondering why he did what he did. Kotono hides in a closet, blushing. The next day at school is normal for the siblings. At night, Arata meets his father, who gives him a gift and asks if he likes someone. Arata is shocked. The sisters watch a drama about a love confession. Banri finds it beautiful. Uka calls it cheap. Seiya says a perfect partner has goals and a plan. And Manami says it does not matter where or how but who confesses. Then Kotono declares she likes Arata and wants to marry him, saying she is happy they are not blood related and considers everyone her love rivals. Arata asks his father why he asked about feelings. His father says as the eldest son it is natural and explains why he married their mother. He reminds Arata of a promise about showing him another world, and Arata thinks the timing was perfect. He declares he will protect his siblings and leaves. His father looks at his wife's photo, proud. Later, a young girl visits a grave while reading a letter to the siblings hoping they are well. Her maid compliments her clothes. Suddenly Arata arrives, his hair white, and the letter ends saying their smiles are treasures, with I love you all from your sibling. The next morning, Arata goes jogging. He looks serious and focused while Shia tries to study, but cannot concentrate because her mind keeps wandering. At the same time, Manami feels confused. She keeps thinking about what Kotono said, and it makes it hard for her to focus. To clear her mind, she decides to train outside. While walking, she suddenly sees Arata. She is surprised, feels awkward, and her heart races. She tries to speak but struggles, then makes a quick excuse to leave. Arata notices something is wrong and gently tells her not to make excuses. He reminds her the national championship is coming and if something bothers her it might affect her performance. Manami says she is fine and walks away, but Arata still feels uneasy. Later, Banri feeds their dog and jokes that the dog will get fat if it does not join Arata for jogging. Arata returns, surprised to see Banri awake so early. She says she has college work. He laughs at the dog who never skips meals but always skips jogging. Banri suggests giving the dog less food, and it playfully chases Arata. Shion joins them, and they all talk about Banri eating fast because she has to leave. They notice Arata looks tired and worry he might collapse. At school, Manami practices tennis and plays very well. Other girls watch and admire her skills. They say she improved a lot and has a special feel when she plays. Yet Manami feels distracted, still thinking about Kotono's words. Her legs hurt from training, and she struggles to focus. During a short break, the girls compliment her. Manami gives a childish answer that confuses them, but they still respect her effort. Soon, Manami challenges her senior Nao to a match, and says the loser must buy juice. As usual, Nao loses. Frustrated, she always pays. She jokes that after the championship she will graduate, and she hopes Manami will succeed. Nao remembers how she misjudged Manami at first, but now sees her as hardworking. Both laugh. Nao says for the first time she feels their team can win the championship, and Manami teases her for acting like a young girl. They play again. Later, Manami hears girls talking about Nao not having university recommendations and quitting after the championship because her parents want her to work. Manami understands Nao's support better and remembers their first match when she beat Nao. She thinks about all good memories and decides to show no weakness, wanting to win for Nao. Back at home, the maid looks for Arata, while Manami keeps training despite her hurting leg. Arata enters quietly, making her nervous. He asks about the championship, and when she says it is soon, he offers to be her trainer. Manami is surprised and says she has professional coaches. Arata points to her leg, noticing it is injured. Manami tries to hide it, but he says the maid saw her bandaging it, and that she has been acting strangely. Manami remembers Kotono confessing her feelings, and feels embarrassed. Arata checks her leg, pressing gently, and she says it does not hurt, surprising him. She acts childlike, and he recalls past stretches they did together. He thinks maybe it helped her flexibility, but quickly stops, focusing on training. Arata asks if she told her club friends about the injury. She says no because she does not want to disappoint them. He warns ignoring the injury might worsen it. She explains her goal is to win for someone else, not herself. Arata understands, and tells her to check with a hospital for safety. Later they stretch together, sitting close. Manami playfully hits him because he is not flexible. Arata goes back to his room and meets Kotono. Things feel awkward. He tells her to rest, and she asks if he was with Manami. Arata says nothing happened, and Kotono leaves. Manami plays her match, and everyone praises her skill. She remembers her senior's support and all the training she did. She vows not to lose and wants to repay everyone who helped. She wins the match, and her senior thanks her. On the bus, Manami feels nervous, and her senior notices. Back home, Arata helps her stretch. Manami says after telling others about her injury, she got a new trainer, making him feel unnecessary. He jokes about quitting, but she thanks him kindly. Arata studies athlete training. Next morning, championship finals arrive. Arata asks Banri where Manami is, but she does not know. Even after breakfast, she jokes, annoying him. Shia asks about Manami too. Kotono, Uka, and Shion also do not know. Everyone begins to worry because Manami is missing. All the siblings are worried about Manami because she is missing, and today is very important for her championship match. Everyone wonders why she has not come yet. Then surprisingly, Manami arrives. She walks in casually and asks what they are doing, and why everyone looks so serious. They all stare at her, shocked. When they ask about the championship, she says not to worry, and that her supporters will not be angry if she is late. Everyone is even more surprised. After Manami leaves, they talk about her strange behavior. Arata feels especially concerned, and thinks it might have to do with her injury. He goes straight to her room. There he sees Manami sitting lazily, eating chips like an animal. When she notices him, she quickly acts normal. Arata tells her she is not herself, and asks what really happened. Manami laughs and finally admits the truth. The team found out about her injury, and a substitute will take her place. She feels relaxed now, and happy to rest, believing her future is still bright. Arata asks if she really accepts this. He reminds her how much she wanted to play, and how hard she practiced. Manami laughs again, and says there is nothing she can do because she is injured, and playing now would risk losing badly. Arata stays quiet, leaving with doubts in his heart. Next, Arata goes to Shion and tells him everything. Shion says he heard Manami crying in the yard earlier but did not think much. Now it makes sense. Being removed from the player list hurt her deeply, and she is pretending to be okay so no one worries. Then the scene shows Manami alone in her room crying quietly until Arata surprises her by entering. Soon, all the siblings get into a car. Manami is surprised to see Banri driving, because she just learned. Banri is nervous, and Oka sits beside her, reminding everyone the match starts in 20 minutes. The car is chaotic and loud, and Manami thinks about how hard her siblings try for her, while questioning if she should even compete. She remembers her teacher and now telling her to rest, because of her injury. Now says health is more important than winning. But Manami feels strongly that she must compete for now, who inspired her to love badminton again. Arata speaks seriously to Manami, telling her if anything goes wrong she must stop, and never lie to herself or him. Meanwhile the match starts. Manami's team is losing badly, 40-0, showing how weak they are without her. The siblings are stuck in traffic and worry. Arata sees rental bicycles nearby, and he and Manami ride as fast as they can. At the stadium, the team loses one set but wins another, giving hope. Arata struggles on the bicycle and Manami asks why he works so hard for her. He wants to answer but is too tired. He remembers 5th grade how Manami wrote about her siblings for Mother's Day, and how she always smiles despite injuries. He respects her determination and tells her to be careful, and she promises. Manami finally enters the stadium. Everyone is shocked. She tries to speak but Arata falls to his knees, asking the coach to let her play. Manami also requests to compete. Nao, seeing their determination, convinces the coach to allow it. After the match, Manami stands in front of everyone, apologizing for losing. She expects anger, but instead hears thanks from teammates. Tears fall as she listens. Later, Arata finds Manami sitting in a park. She pretends to be normal and apologizes for losing despite everyone's hard work. She is confused why people thank her instead of being angry. Arata hugs her tightly. He reminds her not to lie, and to let herself feel sadness. Manami becomes silent, then asks helplessly what she should do now, wondering if being number one would make everyone forgive her. She wishes to become stronger, and cries deeply. Arata stays close silently, giving comfort without words. The next day starts with Manami sitting alone, quietly thinking about Arata. Memories of his kindness come to her mind, and she feels warm and happy. Her face slowly turns red as she thinks more, and before she realizes it she starts smiling. Meanwhile Uka is still upset. Even after several days she cannot stop thinking about the tennis match. She tells others that the ball touched the line and that Manami should have won, insisting the tournament was unfair. She keeps praising Manami for playing so well, especially with an injury, and tries to convince Arata that the score was wrong. Arata listens calmly, not agreeing or disagreeing, and focuses only on the fact that Manami gave her best. This frustrates Uka even more. When Manami enters the room, Oka asks how she feels. Manami says she is satisfied and proud of her effort, even though she lost. She smiles gently and thanks Arata and Oka for supporting her. She also says she wants to improve more. Oka feels more frustrated because she thinks she is the only one still caring. To show her point, she sets up a small demonstration with a tennis ball to recreate the moment it hit the line. Suddenly the ball slips and flies toward Manami's head. Everyone gasps, but Arata moves quickly and catches it, protecting Manami. She looks at him and feels her heart race, thinking about what Oka and Kotono said about liking him. The next day begins at the Shiunji house. Everyone is together except Uka, and the atmosphere feels strange. Only 4 sisters are present, and the usual energy seems missing. Last night, Uka sent a message saying she would stay out one more night. The family tried calling her but she didn't answer, which surprises everyone. Arata especially wonders what she is doing and why she left. At school, some girls ask Arata where Uka is. He tells them he does not know, and this makes him more frustrated. He wishes she had at least told someone what was on her mind. Meanwhile, Uka is at a hot spring. After bathing, she leaves and goes somewhere else. That night, the family gathers in the living room, very worried because Uka has been gone more than 3 days. They talk about how she is supposed to become the next student council president, and skipping school could hurt her reputation. Banri scolds Arata for not being more concerned. He is surprised because he expected Seiha to worry more. Then Banri shares something important. She tracked Uka using GPS, and she has gone to Mount Fuji. Everyone is shocked, especially Arata, who thought she only went to Yamanashi. The sisters worry because Mount Fuji has dangerous forests where people have been hurt before. Shion tries to calm them, saying they should not jump to conclusions. Arata realizes the situation is serious and decides to go after Oka. Seiha tells him to hurry, and Banri becomes more worried. Arata takes a night bus and reaches the 5th station of Mount Fuji by nightfall. He calls Banri for GPS details and starts climbing the mountain. Back at home, Manami and Kotono talk. Manami is worried about Oka, and Kotono says she is also worried about Arata, hoping both stay safe. Manami is surprised but agrees. Finally, Arata reaches the inn. Uka is shocked to see him and jokes that he is like a gorilla for walking so far. She asks why he is there, and he calmly says he came to find her. Uka starts to blush and says she told him not to come. The innkeeper gives them only one room, so they stay together. Arata informs the family he found her, and everyone feels relieved. Night comes, and Arata notices they are in the same room. He remembers the awkward moment in the game room and tries not to think about it. Uka says she will change clothes, and tells him not to look. Arata feels embarrassed. Uka lies down, and Arata quietly asks why she ran away. She does not answer but asks if everyone worried about her. Arata says yes. Then Uka talks about their parents meeting at Mount Fuji, and wonders if fate could create similar moments, joking about siblings. Arata is shocked. She mentions Kotono likes him, and he tells her to sleep. He asks again why she came to Mount Fuji, but she is asleep. The next morning, Arata wakes up and finds Oka gone, leaving a note saying she is going home, but he knows she is lying. She is climbing again alone. Arata calls home for her GPS, and when he sees she is not returning, he decides to follow her to the summit. At the top, hikers notice Oka alone, and she chooses a dangerous path against advice. She regrets not going back with Arata. The fog thickens. She slips, falls, and cries for help. Back at the inn, Arata notices her bag is still there and realizes she took another trail. At home, Banri loses the GPS signal and becomes worried. Arata knows this is serious. A flashback shows their father giving Oka their mother's earrings, which she turned into hair clips, and saying she will meet her special person. Oka wakes up from the dream, hungry and scared. She did not bring her bag or charger and wonders if anyone will rescue her. She remembers she and Arata are not real siblings, and hopes he will come. She looks at her earrings and blames herself. Suddenly, a light appears, and it is Arata, reminding her of her parents and bringing relief. Episode 10. The next scene begins with a flashback. Uka talks to her father about school. She tells him everything that happened. They laugh and enjoy the time together like best friends. Then the scene shifts to the present. Uka stands outside her father's office. She feels nervous and unsure about going in. Her father notices something is wrong, but she pretends everything is fine and walks away quickly. The story shifts to the mountains. Arata suddenly appears in front of Oka. She feels shocked and tries to stand, but her leg slips and she falls again. Arata rushes to help her and says he will carry her. At first, Oka refuses and says she can walk alone, but her injury is too serious, so she finally climbs onto his back. They start climbing the mountain again on the same trail. Arata feels tired and sore, but he keeps going. Meanwhile, the rest of the siblings wait at home, worried. They try messaging, but get no reply. The weather turns bad. Their father cancels his trip and returns home. All the family can do is pray. Arata is exhausted, but he and Uka finally reach the top. They arrive at the lounge, and while walking, Arata wants to ask why she came. Before he can speak, Uka starts talking. She says she watched a viral video that claimed climbing Mount Fuji with something from the past lets you meet someone you miss. She wanted to meet her mother. Arata is surprised and asks if she did. Uka doesn't answer and says her mother wouldn't meet her anyway because she isn't her real daughter. Her face looks calm, but her eyes say something else. She tells him she shared everything with her dad before, but after learning she is not blood related, she feels distant and unsure. Her grades have dropped, and she believes nothing will be the same again. Uka then asks Arata why he saved her. Why did he risk himself for her? Arata answers simply because they are siblings. Even if not real, they grew up as brother and sister, and that bond matters most. Hearing this, Uka starts crying, letting all her emotions out. Later, her wound is bandaged, and they leave the lounge to walk down the mountain. Arata offers to carry her again, but this time Uka politely refuses. They meet the rest of the siblings who came to bring them back. Banri checks both of them closely. They talk about how it was Manami's idea to come for them. Manami feels shy when praised, and everyone laughs. Banri drives nervously. As they start home, Seiya asks why Uka went to Mount Fuji, and she says it is where their parents first met. Everyone thinks it is a fair answer, and does not press further. Uka sits quietly, remembering what she said to Arata and realizing she still hides her true feelings. While thinking, Arata falls asleep on her shoulder, making her blush. She does not know what to do. A flashback shows younger Uka saying a man should always offer his shoulder to a woman. Arata disagreed, and she teased him, using their father as an example. At home it is late, and everyone decides to sleep early. Uka notices Arata has a high fever. Shion carries him to his room. Their father enters, happy to see Uka safe and thanking Arata for helping her. Later, Uka visits her father, apologizes and hugs him crying, saying she feels like a stranger after learning the truth, but he comforts her. The next day at school, Uka lies to her friends about her injury, and Arata's cold. Banri makes porridge for him, and Manami volunteers to deliver it. Seiha checks his temperature and says he is better. Everyone laughs, teasing Uka for causing his sickness. Uka takes a bath, thinks about Arata, and visits his room. She apologizes for lying and explains why she wanted to meet their mother. She confesses that Arata is the one she loves. Then she surprises him with a kiss. Before leaving, she apologizes again for acting too fast. Arata lies in silence, confused and thoughtful, while Uka walks away quietly, leaving him to process everything. Episode 111. The next day begins with the siblings arriving at a private villa. It is a special place their father bought long ago just for them. As Arata looks around, he remembers that it has been 3 years since their last visit. Back in elementary school, they often came here with their father and had fun, but now it is the first time without him. Looking at the villa, memories slowly come back and everything is just as they left it. They laugh about how their father loved golf and probably bought the villa for that reason. Then Arata remembers something. Just like a school trip, they have to sleep together. When he says this, Banri gets excited and clings to him, which annoys him. Suddenly, Arata sees Oka and freezes. Memories of their kiss and her confession flash in his mind. His head spins because he cannot understand how to feel about it. After all, they are supposed to be siblings. Oka notices and asks if he is okay. He lies, saying he feels motion sickness, something he never had, and quickly walks away. But Oka knows he is hiding something. Meanwhile, Shion wanders off and finds a strange place for sale. Back at the villa, the others are busy with their activities. Arata sits in the bath but keeps thinking about Uka. He cannot understand why she is calm while his mind is full of chaos. Suddenly, Shion walks in and reminds him he forgot to lock the door, which surprises him. Then Arata asks why Shion separated from the group, and Shion explains he wanted to see his real parents. After visiting, he found the place empty and felt disappointed. But there was nothing he could do. Even after leaving the bath, Arata still thinks about Oka. He feels awkward, and both Manami and Kotono notice his strange behavior. Later, the siblings enjoy a barbecue outside, while Manami quietly unpacks her clothes, looking serious. Something is on her mind. The next morning, everyone is still sleeping, but Uka wakes up and notices Arata is missing. He is in the sauna, thinking about Shion's family visit. He wonders if the other siblings are doing their own investigations too. When the sauna becomes too hot, Arata steps outside and sees Uka waiting. She teases him about lasting only 5 minutes, and challenges him to an endurance contest. Arata refuses, but she sits close to him, making him overwhelmed, so he agrees to avoid awkwardness. They enter the sauna, and Uka tells him she used to beat him in endurance games. Arata's head spins with memories and thoughts he cannot shut down. Manami wakes up and notices both are gone. Back in the sauna, Arata loses the contest. Uka teases him and asks about a girl he once liked. He says Lala, who already has a boyfriend, and adds he would never ruin someone else's happiness. He says holding on to feelings would be lame. Uka quietly walks away, while he wonders why she acts so strange. She remembers how they used to sit for hours as kids sharing silly dreams. She begins to blame herself for hiding her feelings, while Arata cannot stop thinking about her. Then Manami enters and asks them to follow her. They go to a flower garden, surprising Arata because he expected something sporty. Manami says she enjoys everything in life and notices Arata seeing her in a skirt for the first time. She asks who his ideal bride is, reminding him Uka asked the same question before. He helps her remove a tag and takes photos as she smiles. Manami gathers courage and says she likes someone. Arata feels happy and asks if she wants to practice with him, but she says not to worry and buys souvenirs. He smiles, glad to know she likes someone, but suddenly remembers Uka's confession again, and his mind spins once more. Episode 12. Later, all the siblings enjoying their vacation together. They have been to this place before, back when they were younger and came here with their father, but now they are alone as a group of siblings. As they walk around, they talk excitedly about the barbecue they planned for the evening. Nearby, a group of boys watches the sisters with amazement, wondering if they are celebrities. Shion tells Arata that his classmates would pay a lot just to go on a trip with his sisters, and Arata laughs because growing up with them always felt normal to him. But when he looks at Oka, his mood changes. He remembers her love confession, and his mind starts spinning again. As the day goes on, the siblings enjoy their vacation in different ways. Some swim, some sit quietly, and Oka jumps off a waterfall. She reminds everyone how she and Seiha used to hold hands and jump together as children. Seiha laughs, saying they were so silly back then. Oka asks Arata if he wants to jump too. He immediately refuses, but when Manami asks him he agrees. They hold hands and jump, and Arata feels like they are back in the old days. But this time, everything feels different. They know they are not real siblings, and their feelings have grown more complicated. While Arata is lost in thought, Seiha suddenly notices she lost her top during the jump. Arata panics, thinking strange thoughts, but after searching a little he finds it. Even after this he cannot stop thinking about her swimsuit. Later, Banri says it is finally her turn to swim. She has been working the whole time, and she wants to enjoy herself. She invites Arata to swim with her. At first he refuses, but then agrees. Everyone stares because Banri looks like a model in her swimsuit. She asks Arata to carry her in the water. She remembers when he promised to protect her, and that Kotono likes him. Then she pulls him under the waterfall, whispers "I love you" quietly, and returns to being cheerful while Kotono watches silently. Later, Kotono shyly asks Arata to come with her to get drinks from the vending machine. He is surprised but agrees, wondering what to talk about with her since she is usually quiet. As they walk, he warns her to be careful around water, remembering when she almost drowned. Kotono confidently says she is not a kid anymore, which makes Arata flustered and reminds him of their kiss. When she tries to speak again she hesitates, but Arata tells her she can say whatever is on her mind. Kotono suddenly cries, apologizing and blaming herself for Uka running away. Arata comforts her, saying she is their little sister and no one thinks of her as a burden. Kotono recalls her childhood, and how her father assigned roles to each sibling, leaving her with only the instruction to stay happy. She remembers how her sisters often asked her to just watch, and she recalls nearly drowning when Arata jumped in to save her. That was when she started to like him, wishing they were not real siblings. Back in the present, Arata and Kotono return with drinks, surprising everyone. Arata explains he could not let Kotono go alone. At night, the siblings gather to watch a candlelight event. The place is magical with 2,000 candles, and the holiday feels like a goodbye, but their bond is strong. Arata thinks of Uka again, wondering why she confessed, and what he should do. He still cannot see her romantically, yet he cannot ignore her. Then Arata hears voices and hides. Kotono apologizes to Uka and Manami for causing problems, and Manami surprises everyone by saying she also likes Arata. Uka admits she likes him too, officially starting a love triangle. They argue about how feelings may not matter unless Arata chooses someone. A strange note appears, saying the truth has not fully come out yet, and that among them there are still real siblings.